Hey, in today's video, I want to show you how I don't plan ahead in my art journal. I really just make one decision and see where it takes me. It's kind of a roll with the punches approach, and I think it's really helpful in growing as an artist. So let's check it out. Hey, my name is Julie Fei-Fan Balzer, and I am an artist living and working outside of Boston. Here on my channel, I share lots of videos with tips, tutorials, and a peek into my life in my studio. So I hope you check it out. I hope you'll take a class with me, either online or in person. I didn't begin this page with a finished composition in mind. I began with a page that was already covered in collage, color, and lots of visual information. Instead of seeing that as a problem, I decided to treat everything already on the page as something I could respond to. This is one of my favorite ways to work. So a blank page asks you to invent everything, and that's exhausting, right? Whereas a page that already has marks and colors gives you something to push against. It just makes creating easier. So I started with an idea, which is I wanted to see if I could gelatin print these large tree shapes directly onto the spread. And they didn't look great. And at this point, I wasn't exactly sure where the page was going. I was just making one strong decision, and then looking to see what that decision changed, right? I think that sometimes we imagine that experienced artists can see the finished artwork before they begin, and the fact is I usually can't. But what experience gives me is a greater willingness to make one move, pause, and then decide what comes next. It gives me the confidence to feel like I don't need to know what the end result is. I can sort of stay in the moment is the best way I can think to put it. So once the trees were there, I began painting around them, and this changed the relationship between the trees and the background, right? It meant that some areas became quieter, other areas became more prominent. The trees started to feel less like something printed on top of the page and more like really part of the page, right? Each new layer creates a question. So for instance, do the trees need more space around them? Does the composition need more depth? Is there enough contrast? Is my eye moving through the spread or getting stuck in one place, right? So all this led me to create some ground area, and then that led me to create some smaller trees. And I do think that repeating the same kind of shape at a different scale helps to create the feeling of distance. And this is actually something you can use with abstract work too. For instance, I often tell people if you're buying like a 12 by 12 stencil, see if they have a smaller version so that you can kind of repeat that shape through your work. So I feel like adding the ground gave the trees a place to exist, because until that point they sort of felt like they were floating, and then adding the sort of smaller trees really made things feel like the trees were in an environment and not just like, hello, I'm two trees. So this is mixed media, and I hate it when people say multimedia. This is a hill that I will die on. That is the incorrect term. Multimedia is when you are using video and photography and, mixing it all together into something that is many kinds of media, right? Mixed media is when you're using lots of different kinds of art supplies and art disciplines together. So this is mixed media. I'm using acrylic paint and crayons throughout it. The paint is opaque. These crayons are art crayons, and they're really highly pigmented. So they also allow me to cover, and I just like the way that they look. Crayon gives a real immediate physical line. It can, move across the surface really differently from a paintbrush. So I feel like acrylic paint and crayons are a really good combo. I sometimes will also use acrylic paint and pencils, or acrylic paint and oil pastels. I know you're not supposed to mix acrylic and oil, but I do it. So you can see that there are also colors that I changed along the way, and they weren't necessarily bad colors, but they weren't doing what I needed them to do. I mean, the biggest thing I was doing is because they weren't creating enough contrast, I really tried to change the value story here. So I want to emphasize this point because I think it's really important. Changing my mind is not separate from the process. Changing your mind is not separate from your art process, right? That is the process. When something doesn't feel right, I try not to immediately label it a mistake and try to correct it, right? Instead, I go back to those questions. What is the page telling me? What changed? what is competing, what has disappeared, what needs to be repeated, what's the problem. And in fact, I thought this page was done for a moment. I was like, okay, it's fine, it's done. But the more I looked at it, I decided that it wasn't done. And so I added more collage. Now, you know, new collage elements can often look disconnected at first because they really sit sharply on top of everything else. And sometimes that's the look that you want, but sometimes you do not want that look. And this was one of those times where I felt like the collage elements just really stuck out. Part of it is because I was introducing some value contrast and bringing in a lot of lighter values that had gotten lost. But in order to integrate them, I use a trick that I use over and over, which is I just use some crayon, and I chose the colors of the crayon based on the colors that were already in the work, and I use the crayons to sort of reintegrate it. So the collage bits are still showing through, and the texture from the collage is there, but now the color and some of the marks are sort of matching a little bit more what's there. Again, repetition is one of the simplest ways to make a page feel unified. You can repeat a color, a shape, a line, a texture, or like I did, a material, right? The crayon sort of in the back and the front, back and forth, the paint in the back and the front, all that kind of stuff. That repeated element really helps the eye understand that all of these different parts belong to the same visual world. So, you know, as you can see through this process, you know, this page was not created by following a plan from beginning to end. It was created through a series of questions and responses. You know, I made a move. I looked. I noticed what changed. Then I made another move. And the page really does not exist, especially I think in an art journal, because it should be an experimental place. Like, you don't need to know the answer before you begin. You just need to pay attention to what's happening and then respond to it. I think so much of learning as an artist is learning how to respond when things, you know, go in a direction you didn't expect. And that, I think, is what gives you control or mastery of your form. It's not, you know, I see this picture in my head and I create it perfectly. It's that I roll with the punches. Things happen and I'm willing to go. And this is one of the best things that an art journal can teach us. It's not how to perfectly execute an idea, but it's how to stay present, change our minds, and keep the conversation going. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment letting me know what you think. I do have a free newsletter that goes out every week that always has tips, tricks, links to blog posts, other videos you might find interesting, lots of fun stuff. So I hope you'll check that out at juliebalzer.com.